Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Star Nation's organization's main fan page where I do this daily live stream show. And it's all based around the divination card that I draw in the morning. And really it's about telling us what's important for us to know about today. And it sparks a spiritual conversation, an interesting conversation usually with those in the chat room. And that's my favorite part. It's my favorite part. So welcome. And today is Tuesday, April 23rd. April 23rd. Yeah. We're zeroing in at the end of April here. I know it's going by so fast. Before we get too far down the road, what I'd like to do is to share and like the live stream. I've got my phone, and I invite you to do the same. Here we are. That way others can find us a little bit easier, right? And also know that if somebody's searching for this kind of information or this kind of community, that they can find us. So I'm just going to send it over to my newsfeed and let my friends know that I'm live streaming. And of course, to please join me. Okay, there we go. And I think Stephanie is going to be in the house. So I'm going to leave the other sharing to her. Otherwise, we end up double sharing to some things, and it's just a bit much, right? It's just a bit much. Okay. Yay. Let's see. Rob's in the house. Rob, what you know, Rob? He says, I'm going to have to skip out early. Tea with a Druid is having a special tonight. Really? GMT. Even Tea with a Druid. Is that Philip Cargome? Is that his show? I wonder. Yeah, because I haven't heard of that one. I didn't know he actually had a name for his show. I'm sure he does. I just didn't pay attention. And Rob is saying I did before the broadcast. Yay! Thank you, Rob. Bring back some good information from that Druid guy. Yeah, I'm gonna have to, or better yet, Rob, if you could share with me, especially if you could share the link to that, because I'm sure that they have a. I don't know. I'm assuming that they're on Facebook. And if they are, if you could share the link with us, that would be great. Yeah. So the rest of us can try to catch his show, even if it is a recorded, right? Yeah. Oh my goodness. It's coffee, and it's really, really good. And it's so good. Yum, 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 yum. Hi, Peggy. Prayers for some lost or stolen money. Sure, we can do that. Is it from you or for someone else? Because that makes a little bit of a difference in how I phrase it. Okay. Yes. Oh, sure. Yay. Yep. Philip Cargome, 8:30 GMT. Yep. Yeah, I know. Yeah. It would be really great, Rob, if you could maybe share that link in the Academy. If you can do that, that would be great. Because I think that's the best placement for that. So others can tune in to his to either the live stream or maybe be able to watch the recorded, right? That would be great. Thank you so much for doing that. Yeah. Lost or stolen money. Waiting for Peggy to reply back if this is for her or if she's asking on behalf of someone else. Okay, I will share if I'm able. It depends on the group from which he's broadcasting. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's an open group because I've seen it. I've seen it before. I just didn't pay attention to the name. Peggy saying from me was my stash of mad cash, a large amount. Aw. That hurts, doesn't it? It hurts in a couple of different ways. Um, because if you lost it, right, then you're ruminating about it. So what did I do with it? Well, the last time I had it, and you go back over your steps, and and then you feel so bad because this is something that you work so hard for, and to lose it like that, right? So we're really hard on ourselves, and if it's someone else took it, then that's another set. That's a different kind of rumination in thoughts. Is like because um, somebody has gone through a boundary, right? And it becomes personal. It's like somebody breaking into your house or something like that. Yeah. So Peggy, I'm just asking my team which would be the best way to help you, to assist you, because I got permission to help. So okay. So yes, we can help you with supporting you with a prayer. But also, Peggy, is to take a couple deep breaths. Deep breaths in, hold it that just for a second, then exhaling. It brings you back to the present moment, back into your body. Okay, just a couple. Yeah, and feel your connection to Grandmother Earth, right? Because we need to have you grounded. Right. Even if you can just bring an image to you that you just really love about her, whether it's a landscape or a child or a pet, something that you just really really love. Okay. Yeah. Oh, good. She says she just smudged the house. Okay. Yeah, we're preparing you. We're preparing you. Okay. So, if you could just take a couple of those deep breaths and just bring images of Grandmother Earth to you that you just really really love. Okay. That how much you love her, because we're going to help you raise your vibration by reminding you to do that. Okay. Yeah. So really feel about how you love Grandmother Earth, all the things that you love about her, and just turning your mind to her. Okay. And then when that feels complete for you, what I want you to do is call to your spiritual team, your entire team. Okay. Okay. And after you've called to your entire team, I would like you to make a request to them, ask them to help you, okay, to locate the money. If it's something that you misplaced, ask them to guide you to it. Okay. Okay. You're welcome, Peggy. I mean, this is that's what friends do for each other, right? Um, and that if in the event that it was taken from you, okay, is to is for them to your team to validate that for you, that it was indeed taken. Okay. Yeah, and they can even help you to understand why you're experiencing this. Okay, what's the life lesson in it for you? Okay, and really, Peggy, this is really about turning your attention to the ability to help yourself. Okay, in all ways, in all ways. Yeah, and it's a possibility that you even knew the person who took it, if that's what happened. And it sounds like, or feels like, obviously you saved this money for a reason, right? And so, um, to be able to ask your team to replace it, to help you to find ways to be able to bring that amount to you, so that you can continue to do what you're planning to do, right? That you are manifesting for yourself. Yeah. And in turn, we can ask, we can say a prayer, right? We can ask the angels of the most appropriate realm to go to Peggy Ball and to help her, to assist her, in one in being alleviating any worry or emotional pain this has caused, mental anguish, but to also help her to either locate it and or to help her to understand why this money was taken from her. Right. I that's what I felt, Peggy, is that it's a boundary issue. And so when we set boundaries, the best way is to set it out of love rather than fear. Okay? So money is really a symbol of our energy, because it takes our energy to create it, right? Whether it's through a job or something like that. And so your energetic boundaries in access to your personal energy. And so it's just set a boundary that for the love of yourself, right? The love of yourself, to have a healthy boundary so that you can feel whole, and that you have the opportunity to choose who receives your energy. Yes. Yes, and that is really a good point, that the taker learns too. Yes, whatever their life lesson is around this, because there's consequences to all of our actions, both positive and negative. And so, yes, that whoever took the money, that they too, they receive the life lesson, the wisdom that they're going to gain from this, right? Um, yeah. Yeah. Pat's asking what's happening, money missing. Yes, Pat. Peggy Bull came in to the chat, and she's asking for some help because she has some savings, her cash stash, that came up missing, and either misplaced or stolen, basically. And so we're just helping her kind of get back into her body and get connected to Grandmother Earth, and having her turn to her team to assist her, to help her to understand and either help her find it if it was misplaced, or if it was taken, to help her to understand why she's experiencing this and what is the life lesson here, right? And you can ask Peggy for the money to be replaced somehow, to have that opportunity to come to you to do that. Yeah. Okay. So setting boundaries is always a good thing, right? Yeah. And if you need any further assistance, Peggy, why don't you go ahead and PM me, okay? And I probably can't get to it tonight, but tomorrow I'll have some time. All right. Okay. And Rob is going to be attending a Druid live stream at 3:30, and so he's going to duck out early. But he said 3:30 Eastern time. But he said that if it's the public group for it, which is the OBOD group, it's public, then he'll be able to share it. But if it's not, if it's from the Private Magicians Club, then he won't be able to share it with us. Yeah, totally understandable. No worries. If you can, that would be great. Be awesome. If you can't, we certainly understand it. Hey, Stephanie's in the house too. She says, my computer's running slow. I'm on the phone today. Okay. Alrighty. That's all right. Okay, and then Stephanie's doing her posting. Thank you, Stephanie, for doing that. Peggy's saying, thanks, everyone. This is more than enough time for me. No, it's, well, we have to get to the cards, that's for sure. But the feeling I have, Peggy, is that you just need a little time to kind of be with it for a while in a grounded way, right? In a balanced way. And if you get that it was not stolen and that it is misplaced, we can certainly help you find it too. Okay. Yeah. Or at least be able to give it a good try to help you find it. There. Yep. Like I said, if you need further help, just PM me and I will try to give you a hand tomorrow. I've got the show tonight to do, and we have an appointment for George, who's sleeping underneath the table right now, right after this show. So I won't be able to get to it until tomorrow. Okay. Alrighty. But you know what? There are no coincidences, right? I mean, the fact that Peggy came in and shared with us about her situation and what happened, it's helpful, Peggy, even though you feel like, maybe it was helpful to us. Because why? Because we get a chance to be able to help a friend, number one. Number two is that it helps us to remember that when we're in a dire strait, that we can reach out for help, right? And that's what friends do for each other. It's like helping you to ground, helping you to get those deep breaths in because you needed some oxygen, right? Shallow breathing doesn't help, just makes things worse. And to get grounded, and then to remind you to turn to your team, to ask them for some assistance and some guidance here. What's really going on here, right? What's really going on here? And to help you to see with some clarity about, the situation, whether it's misplaced or stolen. And then because it's two different things. And so we can help you, but we need to know in which direction are we going in, right? And so it's helpful for us to be able to even utilize our own gifts and skills and talents to be able to assist the best we can. But the end result is that it's your experience. And so the best we can do is support you in that and to help you. use your own gifts and your own talent and your own skills, right? Yeah, because that's way more empowering. It really is. Pat saying thank you. I've misplaced money and I've had it stolen. I learned from both situations. Much love to you. Yeah, well, that's another good point, Pat, is that we've all probably experienced something like that, right? Yeah. And it's usually the people that you think you could trust the most. Yeah. Like family, right? Yeah. Yeah, we learned a big one on that one a few years ago. We really did. I can laugh about it now, but in the moment, it wasn't funny. Yeah, and I think that we all kind of learn from those experiences, right? And you're right. I think it is. That was the feeling I had anyway. It was about boundaries, the ultimate lesson here, and just a reminder that boundaries are much more. They're stronger and more stable when they're created out of love or from a place of love, right? When we create boundaries from a place of fear, we use a lot of our personal energy to keep that in place. And that means that, talk about an energy drain. Oh my God. Because they can. Those boundaries that we set out of fear, they can drain our energy really, really quickly. And then we always feel like we're tired. Well, it's because we're siphoning off some of our personal energy to keep it in place, right? Although we can ask our spiritual team to help us with that, those that help us with our personal protection, to have them come in and help them hold that boundary in place. You could do that. But it's so much better when you can do it from a place of love. Yeah. Yeah, that's been great that we've all had some sort of experience and we learned from them big time. Amy is saying, what was that about Drew and that 3:30? I just came in and mentioned that came from Rob. It came from Rob. He said he was oh my, okay, Central Time people, I looked up on my clock and it's 2:22. I'm going to be talking about triple numbers tonight, or number sequences tonight. So, yeah, energy flow, a change of energy flow. Yeah, Rob, he has to duck out a little early, about a half hour early, because he's going to be attending a live stream that Philip Cargone is holding. And I said, well, if it is, please share the link, because I'd like to watch it later. But it may be held in one of their closed groups. So, but if Rob can, he said that he would share it if possible. And I basically said, totally understand, because we have our own closed groups too. And to be able to share from the public group, public page, that would be great. But totally get it. Totally get it if it's a closed group. So watch for it, Amy. I asked him to post it in the Academy group if possible, because that's probably where the most interest and probably the best placement for it with us. So yeah, watch for it. If he can do it, he'll post it there. Okay. Now, we do have 2 cards today, and it's very interesting cards in their combination. Let's see. Gotta get to the first one. The first one is Heyokah. Heyokah. And that's about humor and the opposites. Heyokah. Sometimes known as the sacred clown. Sometimes referred to as a contrary. Right? And it's about humor and opposites. And they're usually depending on the tribal nation, right? Because almost all the tribal nations have something of a Heyokah. A lot of times they're just termed contrary because they're the opposite. Okay. And Heyokah actually, the word is actually Osheti Sakoi, and that is the Great Sioux Nation. It's their language. Heyokah, the sacred clown, in their tradition, they usually dress in black and white. Black and white. So, it might be stripes like what you see on the picture. It might be stripes, but it could also be polka dots. It could also be plaid. It could be plain colors of white and black. They might have a white pants on and a black top or something like that. But usually have some sort of black and white on, called a sacred clown. Yeah. Oh, Stephanie is saying, crazy. My phone was reading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my gosh. Yeah, those number sequences. Yeah, and Amy is saying, thanking Rob that if he can, to be able to do it, to share that. Yeah, and Rob is saying, I wrote a song called Heyokah. Oh, I'd like to see the lyrics, and I would like to hear it. Maybe one of these days you can share it with us, because that is what Stephanie is saying. She'd like to hear that. I resolves on DM9 plus 9B2. I don't know what that means. Oh, it's an instrumental. Okay. Pat's asking, similar to adjuster. Let me think about that. Not quite, because adjuster is not necessarily in contrary. Contrary meaning doing the opposite. Okay, so a contrary from a Native American point of view would be somebody who, because we do everything clockwise practically, right? They might do it counterclockwise. They might walk through a door backward. They might wear their clothes inside out. When you're talking to them, sometimes it can get they get you confused because their no is a yes and their yes is a no. And so you have to really try to follow the conversation to try to figure out what they're talking about. Oh my God, I don't know about this. Now my team just flashed me Trump. I was 45. I don't even like saying his name. 45 could be considered a contrary. I wouldn't call him Heyokah in a way because there's a much deeper meaning to Heyokah. But a contrary maybe because he's very confusing. When he says something, take it the opposite, and you're probably closer to the actual truth, right? Adjuster is more about jokes, and yeah, there is a sense of humor to the sacred clown. Yes, that's where they're probably very much alike. Is that the sacred clown is always joking around. Right? What they do is they put humor into the reverence. Okay, so it may come off as irreverent, right? But what they're doing is they're trying to teach us that we don't necessarily have to be perfect to be loved, to be considered good by the Creator. We don't have to be perfect. And so, yeah. And Peggy's asking, are similar to Coco Pelli. Well, Coco Pelli is half human and half God. So he's a demigod, okay? Coco Pelli is about creation. And yes, he does have a sense of humor, but he is both Coco Pelli and Heyokah are very strong medicine. They really are very strong medicine. neither one of them you want to misuse or be disrespectful to. Okay, it's kind of a lot like in a way that when you don't want to be disrespectful to Pan, you know, or to ask Pan for a boon, they call it. Yeah, to help you, because you have to have the energy exchange for it, right? And sometimes the energy exchange can be much greater than you anticipated, right? And the same way goes for both Heyokah. Yes, that to ask a Heyokah for help or assistance or to do you a favor. No, no, don't do that. Because their energy is so big and so strong, is that the energy exchange for that could be a lot bigger than you anticipated, a lot bigger. I'm not saying don't go to them for assistance or anything like that, but just realize that the exchange could be quite large, right? And my Heyokah is really teaching you about your own gifts. Your own gifts. So since they deal in the opposites, right? They may tell you, oh yeah, I'll be there at such and such a time, or I'll be there, and they're not going to show up. Or they might tell you I'll be there at 9 o'clock. You're expecting them at 9 in the morning. Well, they're going to show up at 9 at night. Okay. And so, if anything, they probably they actually really test your ability to be in the flow and to be able to laugh at yourself. They will target. I'm going to use that word. They will target somebody who is really, really serious. Really serious. Because what they're going to do is they're going to tease, they're going to tell jokes, they're going to, and sometimes they're not very nice jokes. They're not very nice teasing. Because what they're trying to do is get you to lighten up and to laugh at yourself, not to be so serious, right? And they're also teaching you something along the way. Yeah. All right, so let's see. I'm trying to get caught up with you in the chat. Rob says it resolves very disconnectly. I can't say that word. I originally resolved a perfect fifth, but Julie talked me out of that. Oh, well, sometimes that's what friends are for, right? He says, I have other names for him. He's closer to a pro wrestling heel. Oh, okay. All right. Heyokahs aren't just male. Heyokahs could be female too. Pat, okay, my brother has a very irreverent sense of humor. You would like him. Well, it's those people who kind of make you laugh, right? And humor is a really big medicine too. It really is. Because it helps us to balance out our seriousness, right? Yeah. Maybe, so I was going to say, you need something in your life that makes you laugh. Even if you end up doing, the funny movies, or reading something that is going to make you laugh, listening to music that's fun and makes you laugh. I think that's one of the reasons why so many of us really enjoyed, especially as kids, we enjoyed I Love Lucy and Friends, some of those shows, because they made us laugh, and usually made us laugh at ourselves because we could see the humor in what they were doing, right? Yeah. And Stephanie's saying asking for anything from Kokopelli, Pan, or Heyokah can be incredibly draining. Yes. Yes. So you want to be very intentional, very mindful about what you're going to be asking for. That's why when we had Coco Pelli the other day, we were talking about him again, is that he's a very big medicine. And I tell you what, sometimes I wonder about those people, because obviously they don't know, right? They don't know the full extent of Coco Pelli. Those people who have Coco Pelli as switch plates, for your electricity, right? In your house, or night lights, or pillows. Because it's a Southwestern thing, and so in the Southwestern decor, you find Coco Pelli quite a bit. Now, with that though, Coco Pelli is known all across the United States and probably around the world. Pictures of him are everywhere, and so if you're a demigod, you want people to know about you. He has not been forgotten about. Did I tell you I have coffee and it's really, really good? I haven't had a cup of coffee in a couple of days. I could have, but I didn't. So today's cup of coffee is really good. I just had to share that because it's really good. All right, so Heyokah. Heyokah. This is the poem that Jamie Sams has for Heyokah. She says, "Aho, Heyokah, make me laugh so I'll be human again. Allow me to see my crooked path and the trickster as my friend. Aho, Heyokah, how contrary you can be, yet you make me learn. Aho, Heyokah, the joke's on me, but next time it's your turn." All right, so she's saying that the Heyokah is a contrary clown who holds total wisdom and teaches the people through laughter and opposites. This sacred trickster is one who makes you wonder if what they are saying or doing is actually correct, thereby making you think and figure it out for yourself. When people are made to think on their own, the wobbly beliefs that have been a rubber crutch for them in the past are tested. If the rubber crutch gives way and they end up on the ground on their rump, a lesson was learned. If they stop and think, test out a teaching for themselves, and it stands in good stead, the wobbly belief becomes a knowing system for their lives. Yeah, and she goes on to say, all Heyokahs operate through opposites. The Heyokah's purported wisdom imparted to a seeker could be the exact opposite of the answers the person would find for themselves. The laughter surrounding the results could be a lesson for the entire community. Okay? Heyokah medicine. The Heyokah is known for creating lessons at the expense of another's seriousness. The medicine ally of the Heyokah is a coyote. The Heyokah is a master of coyote medicine and can use the joking part of coyote's nature to trick others into enlightened states of understanding. In fact, it was an honor to be singled out for a trick that contained valuable spiritual lesson. The Heyokah is able to master the art of balancing the sacredness with the irreverence. The sacred medicine path of the Heyokah can involve diminishing fear through laughter. And she goes on to say that the coyote teaches two-leggeds to find joy in their own foolishness. And I got to stop there for a second. So for any of those times where you did something, and you're thinking, boy, am I glad nobody else was here to see that, because it might be embarrassing, right? Those are the things that the Heyokah would find hilarious, and they would be encouraging you to laugh about it, to laugh at your own foolishness, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, and the whole bunch of them are going through my head for examples. I'm trying to catch one of them because there's so many. There's so many. Um, one that I've done myself, right? Because usually those are the ones that, you know, that you might be a little bit harder on yourself than maybe somebody else would be. You know, those are the times when we use those phrases to ourselves that aren't very kind. It's like, why would you do it that way? That was so dumb. Why'd you do that? And you're talking to yourself, right? Or that was really stupid. It's like, you know, so we're both unkind to ourselves and we're not finding the humor in it. Okay. So for instance, those times, those times, I was just thinking, because I'm in the kitchen a lot because, you know, doing mom's meals and her snacks and stuff like that, is that trying to double duty, you know, multitasking. I was using a hand mixer, mixing up some spread for mom, you know, to save for her. And I didn't realize I lifted the hand mixer out of the bowl because I was reaching for something else. I was doing two things at the same time. And when I did that, I had that spread everywhere, all over me, because the blades were still going, right? And yeah. So I had this whole mess to clean up too. And me all over my glasses and yeah. So, you know, yeah. So instead of, and I did at first I was a little upset. It was like, oh, and I was swearing. Like, you know, now I just doubled my work. Now I got to clean all this up, you know, and trying to keep George out of it and trying to get George into a room that I could gate him off. Because otherwise he would have had a field day with all the stuff all over the place. And so, but then I started laughing because I caught a look at myself in the mirror in their dining room and I was just covered in it. And so I just started laughing. It was in my hair, it's on my glasses, all over my clothes. And so I just started laughing and thinking, you know, if anybody saw that, it was like hilarious, right? So that's just one. There's another one that I always remember about is a friend of mine. This was years ago. We were traveling from University of Eau Claire down to UW Milwaukee. Okay. And it's a long trip. And we stopped. Of course, you know, go to the bathroom, get some gas for the car, road trip food. And I walked into the bathroom and she was just, I thought she was crying. And I said, "Are you okay?" And she could barely get it out. What happened was that she was wearing nylons, so, you know, hose, pantyhose, and the pantyhose ripped and from the waistband, and so there was no way to keep it up, right? And so she walked out of the bathroom and she goes, look, no, she was Native American too. Okay. And so she walks out of the stall and she's got the pantyhose down near her ankles and she's barely kind of walking through with them on. Right. And she's going, see, look, and there's support hose too. Now this happened years ago and I'm still laughing. Right. And, so she saw this because we could have been really serious. She was the keynote speaker. And she only had one pair of hose with her. And so here, you know, we could have gotten really, they didn't have any pantyhose at this gas station. And so anyway, we laughed about it all the way down there. The whole time we were down there, she was still running around looking for pantyhose the day that she was supposed to give her presentation. But it's things like that. That is the lighter side of Heyokah medicine. All right. And so Stephanie is saying, Heyokah joke. Two birds are sitting in a bush. A human walks by. One bird turns to the other and says, what do you think the spiritual significance of seeing a human is? I know, I saw that one too. And it is a good example of a Heyokah joke, humor. Yeah. Now, the thing is that Heyokah, and the application for today, right, is that if the trickster has appeared in your horizon, you're in for a barrel of laughs. You may be doing exactly the opposite of what you need to be doing and are about to get busted for it. Stop leaking your creative energy on other people's problems or high drama. Stop being so serious and crack a smile, or coyote will dog your dreams. Remember that some days you are the fire plug and other days you are the dog. That goes for everyone. So don't let getting pooped on get you down. Learning through laughter or opposites can be fun. The keynote for the Heyokah card is to lighten up and start balancing the sacredness with the irreverence. If you're just being stubborn, it may be time to create a contrary lesson that will force you to crack up, crack a smile, or trick you into going into the crack in the universe to find what's really important. Yeah. So with the way that she is defining or helping us to understand Heyokah through her perspective, Jamie Sams, is through the sacred clown. So she says that when we ask for those lessons, we need to prepare for an adventure. We need to be asking to laugh, to have others laugh with us. We will have achieved the ultimate union of opposites when we learn to celebrate more than we mourn. The time has come to laugh and reclaim our divine right to find pleasure in the sacredness of being human. I like that last sentence. The time has come to laugh and reclaim our divine right to find pleasure in the sacredness of being human. Yeah. And so the question also is a good one for you guys, is that how many people have coyote as a power animal or a totem? Because you're in for a real ride with that one. And Stephanie is saying the front ear. Oh yeah, got to love having coyote show up on the door. You mean the tail at the front? Well, you got to admit that was a Heyokah. That certainly was. There is a flip side to the Heyokah medicine, and that's the one that to have respect for, and to know that it's in their contrariness, okay, in the opposites. What they're showing you is the sense of humor and the laughter and making the reverent irreverent, right? Okay. So when you're thinking about Heyokah, think about what is the opposite of that. What is the opposite of that? The opposite of that is very serious, right? Yeah, nothing to laugh at. That's the other side of the Heyokah. And they're in the West. That's a Western medicine. Yeah, they come out of the dark. The medicine that if you're Heyokah trained, you're trained in very ancient ways. Those that are trained in out West, many of them began as children, raised by their grandparents. Many of them, their first language is not English. Yeah. They're very powerful, holy people, is what I'm trying to say. Very powerful. And so, even though they come with the humor, remember they're contrary. They're contrary. It's a good lesson. It's a good lesson. All right. So the card that came with this one is Moon Lodge. And I was thinking, all right, so how do these two work together? Moon Lodge, and it's about retreat. And the Moon Lodge is all about a woman's menses, right? Hundreds of years ago, women's moon time, having their period, was actually a very sacred time, very powerful time for them. Unlike what it has been in modern times, right? The way that we've been taught how to understand and relate to our periods, or a woman's period. Even what we call it. It's like, yeah. The moon time, or the Moon Lodge, is all about women. It's a woman's lodge. And west of the Mississippi, the Native women out there, many of them call them the Black Lodge. The Black Lodge. Why the black? Well, it's because when they would go into the retreat, when they would go into for their 5 to 7 days, or however long they had their period, they weren't out in public. They weren't really even with their family. And these days, when we were told about it, is like, it was supposed to be something dirty, and it's not. What they did was they went inward, and they had all kinds of spiritual experiences, because they were slowing down. They didn't have any chores to do, really, right? They had time to be able to go within and experience their intuition and their spiritual gifts, right? So to have your period was actually very big medicine. Big medicine. That was hundreds of years ago. Here on Turtle Island, anyway. Probably even longer than that in some of the other countries, throughout Europe and that, yeah. And how it was done. Yeah. So Stephanie say, any clue of female contraries attended moon lodges? I don't know, but you think that there would be, because there are female contraries. Many tribal nations, it wasn't just meant for men. Thinking of, I spent a lot of time with people that were my mom's age or older when I was very young. And some of the teasing that went on with that, holy smoke. And they didn't care that I was, this young kid in there, because they were speaking in mostly in Ho-Chunk. And so I only got parts of it. And in the parts that I did get, you could kind of figure out what they were talking about, right? And so it's possible. It's very possible. I don't know any personally, but I'm saying it's a possibility. So the Moon Lodge is about a very sacred time for a woman, and and also to be really aware of their own personal strength. Their personal strength and also their spiritual strength, right? And the seclusion part had nothing to do with their bodily function being dirty. Nothing. That came in with the patriarchy through the church. Yeah. And so we have several generations of that layered, right, in with traditional belief. So there's many of us who get up on a soapbox and talk about that, just like I'm doing right now. But they'll noon lodge and retreat. So let's find out. We've only got a couple minutes left. Let's find out what does this have to do with Heyokah, right? Well, there was something that when I was reading through is that in the lodge, in the moon lodge, many times it was set in the west. Yeah, here, the medicine lodges and moon lodges of women are sometimes called black lodges. The color black is the color of the west on the medicine wheel in the Dakota traditions, okay? West is the place of woman, the place of all of our tomorrows and the home of bear. And so that's going in within, like a bear, would hibernate. Well, they're going within. And so a woman retreats to the moon lodge to honor the gifts she has received from the earth mother during the past moon. The blackness of the night sky is dominated by grandmother's silvery light and is female in nature. This is another reason why the women's lodges are called black lodges. And so their medicine is in the west. A woman's medicine is in the west, according to the Osheti Sakoi beliefs. Okay? The woman's medicine is in the west. The Heyokah medicine is in the west. Two very powerful energies coming to us today. And when I was reading through this, what came to me is that, with the moon lodge, it's about going into retreat, to take a break, to replenish our own resources. And that retreating is not a weakness, but an act of strength. Jamie Sam writes that remember that miracles can happen when you repose and allow yourself to come to new starting places in a gentle way. Okay? Which is all true. We know that to be true. It's something that we share about all the time, is self-care, right? Now, I'm going to show you these two together again. Okay. Heyokah, the sacred clown, very strong medicine in the West. It's also about opposites. Teaches us life lessons, spiritual growth, using humor and showing us the opposite. The Moon Lodge is also in the West. Very strong female energy. Sharing with us that our strength lies within. Even though on the surface we may look like a Heyokah in our sense of humor and how we balance our lives with a little irreverence. And with the Moon Lodge also is for us to recognize our sacredness as a human, of being human and bodily functions. It's a strength. not a weakness. And in modern culture, for many decades, women were told and men were told that the women were the weaker sex. Right? And how many times have you ever heard people speak disparagingly about our menses? Right? When it's quite the opposite. We are in our strength when we have our period, not our weakness. And for those of us that are in menopause, ladies, we stand not just only in our strength, but in our truth. And we have the experience, life experience, to back that up. Yeah. So I think that's what's here today, is to help us to understand our inner strength. Even with the guys, come on, for them to recognize and to understand their female partners, their significant others, their girlfriends, their sisters, their mothers, their aunties. It's a different way of looking at it, another perspective. We're turning it inside out, like a contrary. That's what I got out of it. And we're at the top of the hour. This is a good conversation. I don't know how you guys felt about it, but I was like, holy smokes, how do these two go together? And when I sat with it and felt the energy coming from the cards, it was like, they're showing us in a Heyokah way, yeah, that the female energy is a very strong energy. And the thing is that we're both, right? We're both male and female energies. We're both. And so to help us understand the surface, the actual sexual gender energy, but also our spirit energy of both the male and female. Yeah. That's what I see anyway. That's what I was feeling. It gives us something to think about, though, doesn't it? It really does. So whatever you found that was resonated with you, or it made you kind of sit up and go, what? I would say embrace that. Yeah. Hold on to it and see what it feels like for yourself. And then watch to see how the energy unfolds around you today, and where this information may be helpful, insightful, maybe. Maybe you're directly involved with it, or maybe you're bearing witness to it. Either one is good, because we're learning something. If it didn't resonate with you, don't worry about it. It's okay. It's all right. You took a little break to listen in, and maybe you're the messenger, and you can share it with somebody that you know, right? Maybe it was meant for them, and you're the conduit. Could be. All right. So tonight is my weekly show, Communications from Home. Yeah. 8 p.m. We're going to be talking about numbers. Let's talk numbers. All those sequencings that you guys are seeing, that I've been seeing a lot of. Triple numbers everywhere I look, right? Triple twos, triple threes. I love numerology. It's one of my allies, unlike astrology. That's why I go to Julie Hedges for astrology. So we're going to be talking about numbers. 8 p.m. Eastern time, communications from home. And so if you could do me a favor, is bring your stories with you into the chat, because I think that's what's going to help us really open this up and look at it a little bit deeper. Okay. All right. And then tomorrow, crossing your fingers, Holly Joel show Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And I say cross your fingers. Send her some loving energy. She hasn't been feeling well, and that's why she didn't do her show this afternoon. Okay. And so, yeah, send her some love. Send her some good love. She could use a big hug right now. And of course, she's probably sleeping. So don't wake her up. Yeah, so hopefully she'll be with us tomorrow for Soul Connections at 7 p.m. If she's not, I'll let you guys know ahead of time. All right, I'll let you know. And then on Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern is Angel Therapy with Maureen Mann. We extended her time. She's doing an hour and a half now. Why? Because so many of you guys wanted the angel card readings. And so I gave her some extra time so that she can try to fit as many more people in than she did the last time. Okay. And so come and listen. She's talking about Archangel Nathaniel and our soul purpose and how he can help us with that. And so that's at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah. On Thursday afternoon. And then at 8 p.m. on Thursday is the Mystery School with Orchard and Carl Franklin and myself. And we're talking about walking in two worlds. Yeah. And we got a little surprise for you too with that one. So if you can join us for that, I think you guys are going to like the surprise. Yeah. If I tell you now, it's not a surprise. Okay. So, hey, Bonnie, I didn't know Bonnie was here. Bonnie says, great conversation, lots to absorb and to think of. That's right. And I think that's one of the reasons why those cards came the way they did, is to plant some seeds and to have us go, really? I never thought of it that way. Yeah, I think it's a good one. Peggy says, loved this. Yeah. Let me know if you need me to help a little bit more. Okay, Peggy, just send me a private message and I'll have time on Wednesday to do that. Okay. All right. So with that, enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern time, 2 Central, for the live stream show and group card draw. That's hard to say really fast. Tomorrow afternoon. All right. Okay. Bama Mina. That means in Potawatomi until we see each other again. Love you guys.